to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream, Thursday, January 15th. S&P futures up 43 points, NASDAQ up 312, Russell's up 6, and the Dow's up 35. NASDAQ by far the strongest, up about 1.23%, followed by the S&P, a little over 0.5%, Russell's about 0.25%, and Dow is almost flat. Gold and silver taking a little pause. Gold's down 0.5%, silver's down 2.5%. Notes and bonds and yields pretty flat. Oil's down 4.5%, kind of continuing its slide after yesterday's Iran announcement. Natural gas is down about 0.33%. Soybeans, wheat, and corn all slightly green. Euro and the pound both down about 0.33%. Bitcoin down 1%, hovering around 97,000. VIX, big contraction, down almost 6%, back below 16, 15.78. Biggest movers on my board, we've got ASML is up 7%, CoreWeave's up 5.5%, TSM had earnings. We did a bullish butterfly on that one, and it's up 4.5%. MU's up 4%, AVGO up 3%, so a lot of chip stocks up. A lot of chip stocks up. Amazon's up 1%. On the red side, coin is down 2%. Goldman is down 1.5%. Wait, did Goldman have earnings? 115. Yeah, Goldman just had earnings. They're down 1.5%. Much more green than red on the board. S&P and NASDAQ pushing as we open. No 1DTE today, no calendars, although I will be doing an OPEX calendar during Power Hour later today. I've got a workaround for Schwab. I'm going to be doing one in my IB account, one in Schwab with my workaround. So I will go over that during Power Hour for those interested. Opening bell in 5 seconds. There it is. There she blows. SPX, expected move for today, looks like 28.47. $28.47. All right. Within the first couple minutes here, we've got Netflix strong. Tesla pushed up to previous day high, getting rejected. Nvidia strong. Trading the 1 DTE options today. SNDK is pushing again. AMD strong. Hood weak. AMD pushing up to that Friday high a couple Fridays ago. I'm going to mark I'm marking the overnight highs in Nvidia as the potential level to manage risk around. Marking the pre-market highs in AMD as a potential level. Chips definitely strong this morning after the nice TSM earnings. Hood weak, MSTR weak, Bitcoin coming down. Tesla pushed back up to previous day high. I'm loading up the 440 calls on Tesla just to have those ready. I'm also going to load up the calls in AMD. I'll use the 235 calls. NVIDIA, I'm going to load up the 187 calls. S&P, NASDAQ pulling back, Bitcoin pulling back, Russell is strong. I'm also going to load up the 1 DTE calls on IWM, 265 calls. Just getting these ready on my platform in case I get ready to take one. Okay, so NVIDIA's pulling back to pre-market highs, kind of the overnight highs. Kind of choppy. AMD a little pullback. Tesla's trying to pop back up. Watching Tesla and NVIDIA here for a potential early one. Meta's popping. Look at that little Meta go, Watson. Netflix is strong. Watching Tesla as it's pushing up to previous day high. Looking at NVIDIA and Tesla. Tesla just kind of chopping around previous day high. AMD is kind of pulling back now. Google's trying to bounce after an initial flush. I'm also going to load up some calls on Meta. If it pulls back towards pre-market highs here. On Meta, I would trade the 620s. S&P and NASDAQ need to show a little strength here. Tesla now coming down. AMD is reacting off of pre-market highs. PLTR dropping through lows, MSTR dropping through lows. Yeah, IWM 1DTE also, all 1DTE. IWM is holding. Definitely stronger than S&P or NASDAQ. IWM is in all-time high territory, gapped up into all-time highs. Okay, so NVIDIA is starting to react here off of pre-market high. Watching NVIDIA for the 187 calls. Watching NVIDIA. I'm taking the 187 calls in NVIDIA off pre-market high. Filled at $1.85. Nice little pop. I'll put my first profit target at 218. Didn't quite get up there. Needs a little more pop. Got up to about $2.16 on the options. I've got this this upper green line on my NVIDIA chart. That's the high from January 13th. Kind of had a decent reversal to the downside at that point. Didn't quite get to my profit target. It's kind of pausing, pulling back. S&P and NASDAQ, little dip getting pushed back down. IWM made another pop through highs of day. It's pulling back a little bit. Wish I would have gotten out of some of my NVIDIA there. Missed it by 2 cents. Tesla rejecting previous day high a third time. AMD, little bounce getting pushed back down. NVIDIA's trying again. NVIDIA definitely showing some good relative strength here. Filled at 218, hit my first profit target. Meta's little bounce getting shut back down. MU's having a nice bounce. It pulled all the way back to previous day high, and then now it's bouncing. NVIDIA definitely the best relative strength here. See if it can push through that 188 plus level. So I've got 11 contracts left. I will put another order to sell 6 at 245. See if we can get another little pop. Filled at 245. So now I've got five contracts left. Nice push. Had a baby NVIDIA. I've had 3 red days in a row day trading, so I need this. I need a good solid start to my day. I was about to quit trading yesterday. I'll put another order at 275 to sell 3 more lots. Just kind of scale out into this strength. Filled at 275. Atta boy. Getting a little mighty 90 volume spike here, so definitely want to be out of most of mine here. I've only got 2 contracts left. AMD still holding pre-market high. Chips across the board are pretty strong. SMH is really pumping. NASDAQ and S&P trying to buy up. Now the Russell is kind of weakening. Bitcoin is falling. Yeah, believe me, Dark Avenger, I almost threw in the towel yesterday. I almost just threw in the towel, called it quits. Never, my friends, never. I've been in this situation before. I've had 3 red days in a row. I've come out of it every time. Little pullback on that volume spike, pushed above 189. I wasn't going to throw away the towel. I was going to throw in the towel. Apple choppy. Amazon had a big flush lower. It's kind of chopping near lows. Microsoft weak. Meta tried to push again, got shut back down. Tesla just choppy. TSM ripped into new all-time highs. Here's the here's my earnings butterfly that I did. So it's up 130% or so. I'm actually going to, I did 4 lots. I'm going to close 2 of 4 just to lock in some profits on that. I'll put my order at 325. I'll just let my 325 order sit on that TSM fly. AMD, oh, filled at 325. First earnings trade of 2026 is going to be a winner, my friends. It's a good sign. Nice pop in AMD up to highs of day. NVIDIA still holding. AMD would have been a really nice trade at pre-market highs as well. NVIDIA made the first move, so that's the one I took, but AMD also nice. Tesla still trying to make its way back up to previous day high. Tesla, just looking at longer term chart, like daily chart, you know, we had that, obviously that big drop yesterday and then a pretty decent bounce. It looks like it wants to push through yesterday's high potentially, but, and it's showing, you know, it's showing a little better strength than the market. So still watching Tesla for a potential trade. It's just choppy though. Really what I would want to see is I would want to see it kind of break out and then maybe pull back for a retest, a previous day high. I'm not going to try to trade the breakout because it keeps getting wicked. NVIDIA, a couple little bar pullback. Did have a short mighty 90, so you would be on your second profitable bar there. Yeah, I was watching Goog. I was wondering if it was going to kind of test that and roll back over. It sure did. Same with Amazon. Amazon didn't really have a level, but Google had yesterday's close. Netflix was strong early. It's giving it up. S&P and NASDAQ showing some weakness. Russell popped back up.
Order partially filled. Order filled. Order cancelled.
I don't want to give much back. I only have a couple lots on NVIDIA, but if it doesn't hold this level here, this 188 level, got a couple minutes left on this bar. If it doesn't pop back up above that, I'll just cut my runners. No reason to hold these things and give much back, especially if the market's going to be weak today. Bitcoin finally bounced. Bitcoin, some pretty big volume, both on the drop and the bounce. Amazon through lows. Meta gave it all up. Got a couple minutes left on this bar. Just waiting to see if I'm going to cut the rest of my NVIDIA. S&P and NASDAQ still coming down. AMD's still pushing new highs. Don't usually like to get in two different chip stocks that are somewhat correlated. If AMD's move would have been in Tesla, I probably would be in it, but I was already in NVIDIA, so I didn't want to jump in AMD as well. S&P and NASDAQ trying to get bought up. IWM near highs a day. Bitcoin start trying to bounce. Meta flushed previous day lows. Now it's bouncing. NVIDIA popping back up, keeping us in. PLTR heading up towards highs of day, which is the high of that first 5-minute bar. SMCI just popped through highs. Chips still showing strength. Big banks. Bank of America is red, but Goldman and JP Morgan are strong. Crypto stocks are chopping near the lows. I might add a few contracts in NVIDIA here. Just for context, I started with 30. I would add 5 here, so very small amount of my profits. See if we can get another push higher, but just watching the action first. See if it wants to act like it's going to get strong again. Tesla couldn't push through again, coming down. Just really choppy in Tesla, though. PLTR try to go through highs. It's coming down. I'm in the 187 calls. TSM bouncing. So I'm either going to cut my runners in NVIDIA or I'm going to add here. Let's see how it reacts. Apple trying to stay green. Amazon, Google still weak. Microsoft weak. Meta trying to bounce back. AMD staying strong. All right, NVIDIA's starting to wick a little bit again. Watching NVIDIA. We need the S&P and NASDAQ to get some legs here. Help out. Chips are carrying the weight. AMD trying to pop back up towards highs. Yeah, NVIDIA just still pulling back. IWM pulled back to pre-market high again, trying to hold. All right, watching NVIDIA. TSM still pumping. Netflix, little dip, bouncing. Hood flushed a new low. Google through lows. Just absolute slop in the indices. So AMD and NVIDIA, kind of the two two best here, and we caught one of them. NVIDIA trying to hold that level again. Oil's tanking again, down 4%. Starting to bounce now, but yeah, I had a big flush there right at the open, right at the stock market open. USO was another one I was looking at for a to start my wheel on. I've got like 25% of my account is in cash, so I do have room for another position based on the position size of the other. So I'll watch that, see if it's going to dip even more. NVIDIA not holding now, everything showing a little weakness coming in. Not AMD though. AMD pushing new highs. Tesla falling through lows. All right, NVIDIA might be giving her another go. Still have my order ready to add here if we start seeing some strength. AMD's really popping. All right, I'm going to add in NVIDIA. Same 187 calls. Just a small add. Filled at 255. Apple bouncing a little bit. IWM is trying to make its way back up to highs, which is all-time highs. TSM is now up 6.5%. Earnings fly is way up the ladder. It was a good choice taking half off when it was a little bit lower. But I'll leave the rest on until tomorrow. If we do get a down move back in towards our tent, that would be the ideal scenario. Yeah, the AMD one happened right after, well, the first retest happened right at the same time I got in NVIDIA. I chose NVIDIA. And then it came down and did it again. And I just didn't want to get in another chip stock at the same time. But yeah, that AMD one is really working now. Let's see if NVIDIA can give us another leg. One more leg, NVIDIA. One more leg.
Order cancelled. Order filled. Order cancelled.
PLTR through lows, Tesla through lows, Google through lows, and Amazon through lows. All right, NVIDIA dipping back down again. Kept bouncing and AMD kept pushing, so I thought maybe you'd get a little more out of it. We'll see. Still might, but I'm going to cut it here if it doesn't bounce. I don't want to give back much at all. Tesla swept its pre-market lows, trying to bounce. IWM through highs of day. All-time highs. Man, IWM really pushing. Banks popping. JP Morgan's up 1.5%. Goldman's up 2.5%. Had earnings this morning and was red. It was below yesterday's low coming into the open, and now it's up over 2.5%. Bank of America also pushing. Crypto stocks still near the lows. Bitcoin trying to bounce. S&P and NASDAQ, little dip buying. NVIDIA still holding. Let's see, SJ, are you on here? No. I was chatting with SJ in the Trade Hacker Mindset channel. I just started reading The Inner Game of Tennis. Anyone else read that? I'm just into the first couple of chapters, but I like it a lot. I feel a potential podcast series coming on the inner game of tennis. Netflix still trying to bounce. TSM is now pushing through pre-market highs, up over 7%. AVGO starting to bounce. Come on, Invid. Your boys are passing you up. Oh, nice, Watson. I need to get back into it. I haven't done an episode in quite a while. Too much live streaming. I can only take talking on my microphone so many hours a day. I live stream too much for you guys. Yeah, that's how I started out the pod. I just did that series on breaking down all the concepts and trading in the zone. And then just kind of started taking other topics. I really like doing it, and I need to get more consistent back on it. Nvidia's still holding. I got in my ad at 255, trading at 266. I want to see a push through highs. Not taking anything less than a push through highs, Nvidia. Technically, pre-market is from 3 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. Eastern. And then and then after hours is whatever that. I consider everything before that after hours, but I think it's 3 hours after the market closes, technically the after hours. Four to 8, yeah. Okay, that sounds right. Nice bounce in Tezzy. Tezzy might be going for it. Could use this pre-market highs in Tesla for a move back to previous day high and beyond. I'm going to watch that. Tezzy may have just needed to get a little flush out of its system before moving on today. If I trade Tesla, it'll be the 445 calls. Kind of looks like it may want to take off without me. No, I don't know if you saw it. Posted a couple weeks ago in the 0DTE channel. Chad's not with Navigation Trading anymore, Anil. Okay, so Tesla's pulling back here. Let's see if we get any kind of reaction. Still no extension out of NVIDIA. AMD popped a new high. AMD turned into the beast. It's up 6%. NVIDIA was winning early, but AMD took it over. Still watching Tesla. All right, I'm going to take a small half-size position in Tesla. 445 calls. If I've got my order ready. All right, I'm going to take some here in Tesla. Filled at 323 and 330. So 325 average. I would take my first profit target on Tesla if we push up to previous day high. You can see it's been rejected there 4 times. So definitely want to take off there. So let's see, I'll put that profit target at 380 on Tesla. All right, so no extension out of NVIDIA. It's kind of pulling back to that level. IWM popped right back up to highs. The rut is strong today. Apple keeps trying to stay green.
Order
It's just
partially
chopping.
filled. Order filled. Order cancelled.
All 4 of my AM BICs have fired. No stops yet. Obviously, we have had 0 range. All right, I'm going to have my order ready to close my NVIDIA if it doesn't bounce here. Tesla trying to pop. Need the NASDAQ to follow IWM. Bring everybody up with it. All right, I am going to close my NVIDIA. Filled at 211. So I gave a little bit back with that ad, but still a nice trade on NVIDIA. Tesla trying to push its way back up to previous day high. Yep, I'm in my 4 BIC AM entries. 843, 851, 907, 919. Central. No, the VIX was down like over 5% at the open, Django. Not my kind of 1 DTE day. Tesla trying to make its way up. Let's get a nice rip through highs. My order in Tesla on my first profit target's at 380, just got filled at 380. So I'll potentially add back into Tesla because I only went in half size on that initial one. So I went in with 10. I've got 3 left. I took 7 off on that first profit target. So we'll see if we get a little break and retest on previous day high. Like I said, I've been kind of watching this one because I like the daily chart of a potential push up here. Tezzy pop. I love a good Tezzy pop. It's 80%. When I go down to the 2.5 strikes when premiums are lower, or the $2 strikes, I do closer to 100%. I don't use a percentage. I use a fixed stop loss, but it's right around 80%, right around 100%, depending on where I get filled. All right, so Tezzy broke through. Now it's kind of pulling back to previous day high. Don't want to get caught in a rejection of previous day high here if I add, because it's already done it a few times. But I am looking to add here potentially. S&P and NASDAQ getting some strength. No, it's not discretion. It's the same stops I've used ever since I started trading BICs. Watching Tesla for an ad. Chips are starting to show some pullback. TSM, AMD, NVIDIA. Let's rotate some of that chip money into Tesla. Meta's still bouncing. Still just kind of choppy. Tesla trying to hold previous day high still. S&P couldn't push through highs of day. NASDAQ still near lows. Bitcoin kind of rolled back over. IWM dipping. Still watching Tezzy here. All right, Tesla dipping a little bit. S&P, NASDAQ dipping. I want to see Tesla hold here. And a quick pop back up to previous day high. Be back in 1 minute. Yeah, monthly OPEX is this Friday, tomorrow. I'll be doing my OPEX calendar during Power Hour today. All right. Watching Tesla here. If it doesn't do something here shortly, I'm going to wrap the stream. Meta through highs. Meta just needed to flush previous day low. Grab Watson's stop. Grab Watson's breakout short. SNDK was strong earlier. What's it doing? It fall apart? Oh, yeah. Got up to an all-time high of 423 on the nose. Amazon bouncing. Bounced off of unchanged a few times. Nice bounce. All right, so Tesla trying to bounce again. All right, I'm going to add back in on Tesla. Same 445 calls, filled at 360 and 353. See if we can get it another push back above previous day high through highs of day. I'll put a profit target on Tesla at 440, which would be right at highs of day, basically. Maybe a tick through. Yeah, IWM still printing new all-time highs. PLTR, big bounce. AMD popping back up. NVIDIA, little bounce. TSM, little pullback. That's helping our earnings fly. Big bank staying strong. Bank of America rebounded as well. Hood at lows, MSTR at lows, Coin at lows, Circle at lows. Bitcoin a little above lows. IWM ripped back up. Tesla pushing back above previous day high. I'm going to move my profit target down to 430 in Tesla. Just a little below high of day instead of a little above. NVIDIA back above that 188 level. Yeah, S&P at highs. NASDAQ not quite up there. Tezzy making a run, hit 430, filled. So I went in with 10, got out at 7, went in with another 10, got out of another 7. So I've got 6 left. Now let's see if Tezzy wants to go medieval. S&P breaking out. Tezzy, a little tick and fade. Tick the highs and fading back a little bit. Apple dipping. So for a day when the S&P has just been absolutely chopping in a tight range, NASDAQ 0 range, we've got a couple of nice winners, so it's always good when you can do that. Meta breaking out. Meta trying to put in a little bottom after a big sell-off the last few days. Yeah, PLTR had a nice bounce off the bottom. That is a Hondo. I would say that's a pretty suspect Mighty 90, though. To be fair, I mean that volume bar was slightly higher than the previous, but definitely, but smaller than the second, third, fourth, fifth bar. So not really a volume spike. Tesla, no extension yet. S&P ticked the highs. Now it's coming back. Bitcoin through lows. We need some help. Tezzy needs some help. Can't do it all on its own. AMD staying strong. Meta looked like it was really starting to push. It's pulling back. Tesla back to previous day high. All right, I'm going to wrap the stream. Just holding, I've still got 6 contracts at Tesla. I will go ahead and put in an order to close 3 of those 6 at $5. So Tesla would need to make another push up. I may lower that, but I'll put that in there for now. I'll post the exits in the directional trade channel. We'll be back for Power Hour. I'll be doing an OPEX calendar during Power Hour. I'm going to try to do a workaround in Schwab since they shut it down last month. But I've got a workaround. I'll kind of explain through that. And then I'll definitely get one fired in my IBKR account. And if I see any other day trades, I will post those as well. And hopefully we can get some Elmo profits today as well. So, all right, I'll see you in Power Hour. Cheers.